Yeah, we did an ARISS contact back on the 31st of March, and at Stone Magnet, which is, well,
Is it on University?
yeah, it's only about, what, 2 miles from here, maybe? 3 miles, something like that?
It's about a block from US 1 and
Yeah,
University.
and it's a Title I school, which means that they're not that well off financially, but their students were gung-ho and pretty sharp, and so we ended up having a contact. These contacts, this was 15 months in the making. This was not done overnight. And a school has to apply. They go through an education committee. I have no idea. Well, I kind of know who's on the committee. Don't really want to know. But they, if they survive the education committee and get accepted, then it comes to the mentors. I'm one of the ARISS operation mentors. And we volunteer to be a mentor for each and every school. But I sort of helped suggest to this school that maybe they should do something. So of course I said, I'll be the mentor for that. And PCARS had a lot of help, and you're going to see that in just a second. So along the way, if you got questions, just fire away. The contact was with Steve Bowen, KI5BKB, and who was operating NA1SS on the ISS, which is turning out to probably be one of the most sought-after call signs. The contact occurred on the 31st at 1812 UTC, and it was between me and NA1SS. This was event number 1615, contact 1524. The way we do our recording system, an event technically equals like a school or a museum or a scouting group, something like that. So since 2000, when I was contact number 1, back in December of 2000, we've had event, we're up to, well, we were 1615. It's been surpassed already by about, I think we're up to 1619 as a result of 2 Russian contacts were successful over the weekend. The contact number, we get a lot of schools over in Europe that have, say, an Italian astronaut goes up. They want to, every school on the planet of Italy wants to talk to them. So they triple up or double up a bunch of schools in the same 10-minute time slot. So they have to share that. That's how the contact number comes about. Max elevation was about 45 degrees. Closest approach was 585 kilometers. And these are the guys that helped out. So we got Roger way in the back. And I see Dennis over here helped out. And Dan, I saw him walk in here someplace. See, oh, he's back outside. Okay. Vince over here, and Dave way back there. And we had Clyde. I don't see Brian here. Did Max come in? And I got Bob over here. These are the guys that came out and helped out. You can see who was there on setup day, which was the Wednesday, the 29th. Took us about 5 hours to get it all in place. You'll see some pictures in a moment. Contact day, I got there a little after 10. Contact was about 2 in the afternoon, and we were packed up and out of there by about 4:30, 4:15. What goes up comes down way faster, so that's the way it works out. This is my Highlander, packed to the gills with all the equipment. Yes, I have 2 complete ARISS class stations, and they were packed into the Highlander, and I did not bring everything because this contact, the antennas had to go on a trailer on the tower. If we had a roof access, which the school board people said, no, I don't want you to be on the roof, you would have seen some tripods and some other piping in there and some concrete bricks maybe, and who knows what else. Okay, setup day. These pictures are from Brian, KO4AQF. You see off to the left there, we got Bob and Dennis. And then way over here, we got Roger. I'm up on the ladder, and we got Bob. And then the teacher who was involved, Mrs. Meeks, she's back here. And we got Clyde in the background, me, and then Roger. We're working on putting up the antennas and getting it up on the tripod. This is the equipment. We just sort of set it up on the table at that point in time. We had antennas. In this case, we borrowed the Clyde's trailer. And the shorter beam, these are both circular polarized beams. The one on the left is a set for left-hand circular polarization. The one on the right set for right-hand circular polarization. And then we have a backup. This is for the primary radio. You'll see a picture of that in a moment. This is for the backup radio. This is a vertical. It's just an AR-10 that's been around for a bazillion years. And the idea with the backup radio, backup antenna has no moving parts. All sorts of stuff can go wrong with the beam, and the computer can fail and all that kind of stuff. Because we were computerized control for the rotors. We were aiming it right down his throat as the orbit happened. A little bit more of a close-up picture, pointing out what we had, and then, as I said, Clyde brought that in. We had that in place within, I don't know, 10 minutes, I guess. Once we got sight, we kind of figured out where to put this thing, and we went from there. Okay, on contact day, as I said, it was about 2 in the afternoon, the contact. Up on the left there is the table where we had all the equipment. It's all rack mounted in gator cases. The 2 outer cases probably weigh about 50, 60 pounds apiece, and they're on wheels with a pull cart type thing. In the middle are some 2 audio mixers, Shure M267s, I think they are. Close-up kind of picture on the right of the primary. You notice I've also got HF capability in here. There's a tuner and there's a low-pass filter in there. The primary radio side, there's also a DCI 2-meter filter in there. When I did contacts back in the Chicago area, we had a lot of paging, so we put a mixer in, a bandpass filter in there to make sure nothing got in the way. And we got Dennis over here sitting, and we got some of the, there's Brian and Dennis and a couple of parents back there, and the kids who were running they also shot YouTube on theirs. Unfortunately, I think I was getting reports that their audio was working, and then it wasn't. So don't know how good their eventual recording came out to be. A little bit more of a close-up. The primary radio on the left, backup radio on the right, they are identical FT 847s. They both run amps. The RFC 2-315 is up to 30 watts in, about 160 out. The one on the right's 10 watts in, the KLM, 160 out, give or take. I've also got mounted on, in this particular case, I've got the G5400 rotor and the little interface box that goes between the computer and the rotor control box. And this particular 847 I have bought from Greg about 6 months before he passed away. So it'll be with us. Okay, contact day. Who the heck did we talk to? Well, that's Steve up there. He's the astronaut we were talking to. Mrs. Lundy, who's the principal, she was super active for us. It turns out she's in the Athletic Hall of Fame around here. I didn't even know that. She was soccer, I think, back when she was high school. Mrs. Meeks is a STEM science teacher. And there's some other guy in the upper right corner there that seems to know what's going on, sort of. Bob shot us some more pictures. This is the antennas in motion. And you can see a little bit better how we had the trailer set up and the grounds of the school. This is actually located on the south side of the building. And as far as the actual contact itself, we started out at AOS, acquisition of signal, as it came up over Mexico. Closest approach was here, and then it exited out over this area of Canada. And so we got about 10 minutes.
Did you get the whole pass, Charlie?
We got basically the whole pass.
The whole pass.
What's that?
You're allocated.
Oh yeah, we're allocated. Yeah, these contacts, an ARISS contact is a very very, very big deal with NASA. It has to go through umpteen ISS planners, not only at Houston, Moscow. They both have to sign off on the timing. The actual contact itself is scheduled time off. And they have to make it up same day at the end of their day. So it's actually scheduled time off, so it's like a 15-minute slot that they get told you're doing this. And we, about 2 months in advance, well, let me back up how the whole schedule works. I've kind of passed this along the way a little bit, but about 6 months out from a contact, a school gets asked, we're thinking of this week or this week or this week. Can you support those weeks? And then you say, yeah, I can do this or this or this. We're working with Keplerian data. It's so far out there, we can't even, we can only say, well, we think a contact can be a direct in the morning or in the afternoon, or maybe we get you all day, okay? And then about a month and a half to 2 months out, we get actual contact times that the schools have to review and prioritize. They reject ones they can't handle at all and so forth. And then as we get closer and closer, about 14 days out, we hopefully get the lockdown date and time for a contact. In this case, it was the 31st at about 2:12 in the afternoon for here. And once that happens, once it gets the final, that's it. That time slot, there's a big, huge scheduling chart that the planners have, and you'll see a time slot written in for ARISS contact and the astronaut assigned. Each astronaut actually has, it's a big, huge like spreadsheet that has each name as a row and then what they're doing for all day kind of thing. And so, yeah, it's considered a very big deal. If you came and bothered an ISS planner, which is what we are essentially doing, you can bet that they take a review of everything. And there's actually sort of a like equivalent cost to this. ARISS costs about $1 million a year somewhere along the way to do all the ARISS contacts. Now, is there actual money going back and forth? Not exactly, but that's about what it comes out to be. We have some sponsors to help fund the place and so forth. Some more pictures of what Brian was taking of. That's Steve with his full suit. And some of the kids almost at sign-off time, I think. And we had a big screen going so everybody could kind of watch the satellite tracking software and so forth. And then we had a bunch of kids. So there's Shahid, Katie, and Blake. Some of the kids were very timid about asking their question, and some not so much. We practiced ahead of time. We had it, well, okay, Shahid, you gotta get the volume up a little bit because you're too soft. And they all rose to the occasion. So, and we have Enzo, Layla, and Howard, Cameron, and Anna, and Freddie. And then we had Kaylee, another picture of the orbital track, and then signing off. We got 20 of 22 questions in. We would have had 22 of 22 if the kids had kind of followed what they were supposed to do and stay in line. And some of them kind of, no, get over here, you're supposed to be here. So we lost out a little bit, but nevertheless, it was very good. And the kids they were all bouncing off the walls when we were done. And then I made them all sign the logbook. And they all got a copy of the log sheet before we actually even left. Mrs. Meeks went ahead and got a copy of the logbook for everybody, the log sheet. And the only news story that I have been able to find, unless Dan has found something, this is it. This is from the Brevard Public School System. And I think part of the news thing, you're supposed to have what? Who, what, when, and where. Do you see when? No. There's no date on here. It just says it happened. And there was no picture. So I'm very disappointed in the school system. They had a guy there who I never met because he never came up and introduced himself. And I thought they might have a couple of pictures, nothing like that for their newsletter. So I'm very disappointed in that and so forth. So anyway, so that's a slideshow of some pictures and stuff. Any questions before I go ahead and get the video going? Chuck?
How did you handle the North Crossing?
This one was, my rotors are south, mechanical south stop. But I have, the software is set to go into flip mode if I have to.
Okay.
Yeah, if you got the 5500 and you don't worry about this because you have 450 degrees of azimuth. I have 360, so the software has to understand, oh, I'm going to go through mechanical stop, which is 180 in my case. And so the software says, oh, okay, 0 is now 180, 180 is now 0, 90 is now 270, and elevation was 180 is now 0, and 45 is now, it figures it all out. I've had a lot of schools that say, oh, that can't be right. I tell them, guys, it's a computer software program. It's been well programmed. It knows what it's doing. Don't do anything stupid. Just tell it flip mode is okay and keep your hands off of it. Because it'll do what it's exactly supposed to do. The hardest part is you got to tell them the display on the front is going to be 180 degrees off or whatever. You watch the computer. You don't watch the front panel of the rotor control box. Usually they figure it out. Yeah.
How many new hands are we going to get out of this?
I have no clue.
Were the kids interested in becoming?
I don't know. Might be, some of them might be. It was actually quite difficult to even. I was supposed to try to meet with them, but their schedule and ours, and the school system has got it so screwed. Well, I don't know if it's screwed up or what, but you have to. If you're going to be in there every week, you got to get fingerprinted and background checked and a bunch of other stuff. It just didn't seem to. We couldn't all line up with everything. So anyway.
Can the kids spell ham?
Probably. Yeah. There's one. Go ahead.
Was there any effort made to get this covered by Florida Today paper?
There was. Dan could tell you about. He was our PIO for the club. Dan?
Yes. How were the children chosen? And how many were they? And was there competition?
Well, there was competition. From what I understand, it was something around 100, 110 kids. We at ARISS try to stay out of the selection process. We throw in some comments like, well, I always tell my schools that I mentor, and I've done 89 schools now, look, the kid and the questions are a pair. Some schools, they do a contest for how well a kid speaks. That's that contest. And then there's a different contest for the questions. And I always tell my schools, how would you like to be the kid whose question got selected to be the first one asked and did not get to ask it? So I tell my schools, I would really hope the kids and the questions stay together. And so what process they actually went through, all I know is they had like 100, 110 kids that submitted stuff. And we kind of leave that to the school. They know their school, we don't. And so they picked the students. There was actually 2 students that couldn't make it. I don't know why. But some of the other kids, you'll see, asked the question for them. So the question still got asked. And then the student would say, this is so-and-so asking for so-and-so. And then the question went on out. So, yeah.
Who made up the question?
The kids made up the questions. The kids all make up their own questions. I had a conversation with the teacher a few weeks ahead of the contact. You have to submit the questions ahead of time, too. Those all go into what they call an uplink file with a bunch of other information for the astronaut frequencies and time and all this kind of stuff. The idea is time is money, so to speak, and you got 10 minutes or less. So we would rather have, the question may have got garbled a little bit on the way up, and he says, I know I just talked to Johnny, and I know this is Mary. I've got Mary's question, and just carry on like I, heard the question perfectly well. The other thing is, we don't want a PhD thesis level answer for a kid who's in kindergarten. So the astronauts do gear the response to the level of the kid. So as part of the uplink, not only has it got the name, it either has their age or their grade level, so the questions can be appropriately adjusted to. Because like I said, some kindergarten kids, it's going to go like this if it's a PhD level response. So we don't want that to happen. And the questions then get reviewed by the ISS planners. We had nothing rejected for this group. I've had other schools where about a week before the contact or 3 days before the contact, the ISS planners said, we don't like this question and we don't like the way this question's worded. So stuff that's off limits from day one, anything with politics, religion, sex, personal health questions, those and political type stuff, those are all off limits for pretty obvious reasons. If it's a health kind of question in general, which you'll see here, it'll probably fly. It may get reworded or something, but it's direct personal health questions, that gets rejected so fast it's not even funny. But the kids pick their own. And I had a school today that I'm mentoring out in Kansas, and they wanted to know, can we have the question, how do you go to the bathroom? I said, yeah, that's a legitimate question. Most of the schools, a lot of schools don't want to ask that question. I always tell them, no, if that's a question they want to ask, go right ahead, because you have to get trained to go to the pot in $1.5 million simulator. And if you screw up, your neighbors in the ISS are not going to be real happy with you. Because, things float around in there.
Clean up on aisle 4.
Yeah, if you can find it, that's the problem. Or you have to go to the event system. They're always finding weird stuff that got sucked in by the air vents that, there's a inlet and outlet side. The inlet side, there's always, how did that get there? Well, so things happen. So you have to be, you have to kind of be really aware of what's going on. And so yeah, it's a legitimate question. And I've had one time where, hang on, we're going to get up here to, you're not going to want to see like 38 minutes of kind of stuff. This is AJ. I guess that audio, does that sound okay? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we just plugged it in and took a chance. I think Dennis adjusted it for Clyde, or Clyde did. All right, so this is the contact. I'm starting about 30 seconds ahead of actual contact. A1SS and A1SS. This is AJ9N and AJ9N for a scheduled ARISS contact. I'll copy.
AJ9N, this is A1SS. This is Flight Engineer Steve Bowen. Ready to take questions.
Hi, Steve. How you doing? Handler is Charlie. We're about ready to go to the first question. A1SS, AJ9N. Here's the first question.
Hello, my name is Shahid. I'm in 7th grade. How does returning to Earth affect your physical and mental health? Over.
And A1SS is AJ9N. I'll copy. All right, here's the first question once again.
Hello, my name is Shahid, and I'm in 7th grade. How does returning to Earth affect your physical and mental health? Over.
Yeah, returning to Earth is a physical problem. Bone density, muscle mass. That's why we work out 2 hours a day, every single day. And mental health, I guess that's referred to my submarine experience where coming back into large social groups can be a little overwhelming at times.
Hello, my name is Blake. I'm in the 8th grade. What food do you consume and does it taste the same as it does on Earth? Over.
I think this is Blake, and the question I have is food turns to consume meat. Basically, what we eat on the ground, just packaged in a different form. You can look online. And because of that, and our food, our taste buds do change due to the fluid shift. Over.
Hello, my name is Katie. I'm in the 7th grade. Do you see any objects speeding by the space station? Over.
Katie, no, we actually don't see too many things floating by or zooming past the space station. There have been things that have hit the space station. We see indication of that outside when we do a spacewalk. And one time when I was doing a spacewalk, I did see a meteorite into the atmosphere below me, or a meteor into the atmosphere below me. That was a little exciting as well. Over.
Hello, my name is Layla. I'm in the 8th grade. What plants are currently growing on the ISS and what is the purpose for them? Over.
Well, we just harvested the tomatoes. We haven't started growing anything else yet. I'm actually looking at our veggie rack right now, and it looks like we're getting set up to start something. I don't know what. But the purpose is to basically demonstrate that you can grow things in a microgravity environment and understand how it changes their growth and their biology. Over.
Hello, my name is Enzo, and I'm reading Sam's question. Did you have special training before you traveled to the ISS? If so, what did it entail? Over.
Well, on top of all of our normal astronaut training, we had our systems training for the ISS, and in our case, we also had all our training to operate and live on board the Dragon spacecraft that brought us here. Over.
Hello, my name is Enzo, and I'm in the 7th grade. I play the cello. What instruments have been brought to space, and does it sound different? Over.
And no, actually, it sounds pretty much the same. You currently have a couple guitars, keyboard. Go to the didgeridoo. There was bagpipes. The last time I was here, there was a flute as well. Over.
Hello, my name is Howard. I'm in 7th grade. What was one of the biggest surprises or adaptations you had to make that you were not prepared for? Over.
Based on the question I have here, I could hear you very well.
What was one of the biggest surprises or adaptations you had to make that you weren't prepared for? Over.
The environment we're getting on, which is incredibly amazing. What a different environment. Incredible job. Over.
Hello, my name is Kaylee and I'm in the 8th grade. How do you sleep in space and do you have trouble sleeping? Over.
And Kaylee, I actually sleep about an hour more in space than I do on Earth. It's just incredibly comfortable. We are incredibly busy. I think that helps. And I do a lot of about 8.5 hours of sleep time. Over.
Hello, my name is Kaylee. I'm in 8th grade. What exercises do you do and how long and often do you have to do them for? Over.
Well, in my case, I'm doing weightlifting and cycling, and we also have a treadmill, and we do 2 hours a day, every single day, load-bearing exercise to help maintain our bone density and muscle strength. Over.
Hello, my name is Freddie. I'm in 8th grade. What is the process to become an astronaut? Over.
And Freddie, to become an astronaut, that's all you have to do is apply. You meet the minimum requirements, and you apply, and you enter into this giant pool where you feel fortunate if you get the opportunity to interview, and incredibly lucky if you get the opportunity to become an astronaut. We had 18,000 people to apply for 8 slots one time, so it's incredibly challenging. Over.
Hello, my name is Anna. I'm reading the next question. How do you contact family and friends? Over.
We actually use an internet protocol system, internet protocol phone system, so I can call home pretty much every single day, which is pretty amazing. And it's only improved through the years to do that. So we can call and talk to home every day from the space station. Over.
Hello, my name is Cameron. I'm in 8th grade. What type of work and research do you do? Over.
Most of what we do up here in the International Space Station is actual research. 100 experiments running at any given time, and some of them involve astronaut work and attending as well. We do, they mentioned the vegetation experiments, we do material science experiments, we do biology, we are our own experiments. And other than that, we have to work to maintain the space station, keep it in a livable configuration. Over.
Hello, my name is Shahid, and I'm in 7th grade. Are there any factors that could delay travel back to Earth? Over.
And actually, the biggest delay for us, for dragging crews, is weather. The weather and the landing site has to be sort of ideal for the dragging to land. As we splash down in the ocean, we want to make sure we are safely recovered. Over.
Hello, my name is Blake. I'm in the 8th grade. How much free time do you get, and what do you do for entertainment? Over.
We get a little bit of free time. We have to eat and get organized and maintain ourselves during some of that free time. But, get a little bit of free time. So looking out the window is always a great thing. But we do just hang out and talk and watch movies and just to enjoy each other's company. Over.
Hello, my name is Katie. I'm in the 7th grade. What happens if you get sick or bleed in space? Over.
We actually have a crew medical officer on board, and in this case here during our expedition we actually have a medical doctor on board, which is very helpful. Over.
My name is Layla. I'm in the 8th grade. What kind of supplies get delivered to the ISS and how often? Over.
And Layla, about every 2 to 3 months we get a new vehicle that comes up, usually carrying lots of more experiments and then any supplies we need to maintain and operate the space station for those intervening months. If one does not make it, we do have sufficient supplies to go for an additional 3 to 6 months. Over.
Hello, my name is Freddie. I'm reading Sam's question. Do you get homesick? If so, what do you do to deal with it? Over.
And of course I get homesick. It's I call home, and that's the great thing about the International Space Station. I have the ability to call home every single day as long as we have the correct satellite coverage. But there's no avoid getting homesick. Over.
Hello, my name is Enzo. I'm in the 7th grade. What is the process of converting urine into clean drinking water? Over.
I'm sure there's a really good website that NASA has that explains this. And actually was on the crew that delivered the water recovery system way back in 2008. It uses a centrifugal system as well as a series of membranes, and it works really well. Over.
Hello, my name is Howard. I'm in 7th grade. What is the most mentally challenging thing about the transition from Earth to space? Over.
And the most mentally challenging thing is the fact that you're living in a microgravity environment and your body needs to adjust to it. And then your head needs to adjust to the fact that there's no up, down. You can float across, you can work on the ceiling, work on any place. So you're actually working in a three-dimensional environment, and it's really hard to mentally adjust to that. Over.
Hello, my name is Anna. I'm in 8th grade. What inspired you to become an astronaut? Over.
I did not plan on becoming an astronaut. Did not build my career around becoming an astronaut. I saw the opportunity to apply, and I applied, and I was fortunate enough to get selected. Becoming an astronaut was obviously something that was in the back of my head since I was a small child, and I watched Neil Armstrong walk on the moon. Over.
NA1SS AJ9, and we're going to say thanks. We got a few seconds left. We're going to say thanks and 73s.
Thank you!
NA1SS AJ9N. I have to apologize for the audio. We found out afterwards the laptop gets into OBS software and the microphone on there was still on. And then the way we had the system set up, I have audio mixers that are taking audio off the back of the radios. Actually, it's for the packet, line level. That went in, so each radio gets into the mixer, and then each microphone on the radio has a lavalier mic that's clipped on. And it turns out, okay, we forgot to put the gain control for the backup receiver down to 0, and the backup receiver's microphone down to 0, lavalier mic down to 0. So we got too much background noise. This is really the first time we kind of really had played with OBS software. It's got a little nuances. I don't know if anybody's played with it, but it's got some nuances. You got to remember to do things. So, but that is what we got. We had 20 out of 22, and as you saw, we probably should have had 22 out of 22, but you know, they did what they did, so it's the way it works out. So, any questions on that? Yeah.
Sure they were in the 7th and 8th grade?
Yeah, I mean, I go in there and it's like, you know, well, I mean, everybody's at, you know, this to me anyway, but
Standing on a box or something.
yeah.
Charlie was standing on the box.
Yeah, I should have. And the one guy, you know, it's like, I was want to say, can you comb your hair back a little bit so they can see you, but that's okay. He had some good questions, and so, I don't know what they did.
From a VR magnet school spoke with an astronaut.
Well, here we go. I'll get this.
Science project.
Yeah, the middle school students at Stone Magnet Middle reached out to astronaut Stephen Bowen on the ISS over radio. The kids got to ask him questions about life on the space station as part of an amateur radio project. One of the students asked him how the return trip to Earth affects their physical and mental health. Teachers told the students the International Space Station flew from Mexico to Nova Scotia during their 10-minute Q&A. What a lesson for those students.
Certified chief meteorologist Tom.
So that is the total. Thanks. That, as far as I know, is the total amount of actual media coverage that sort of makes any sense, so to speak. I mean, the Brevard School System's own little newsletter was kind of. It's there, but I wasn't really impressed. But anyway, that's what we did, and through the help of PCARS. I couldn't have done this by myself. And there are a few questions I've had asked of me. Are we going to do it again? Well, this is where you guys come in. If you know a school or a museum or a scouting group or any other kind of entity along those lines, and they want to do something, by all means, get in touch with me, and I'll help you through the application process. I think the application process for, it's a 2-month window, roughly 2-month window, twice a year, and we're almost done with the window that's happening right now. That would be for a contact the second half of 2024. We are working that far in advance. But if you got a school that you're interested, that you think they might be interested, by all means get in touch. I have PowerPoint presentation, which you've seen before. I'll bring that and explain things and go from there. Now, in June, toward the 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, something like that, up at Kennedy Space Center, there's a conference called Space Coast Area Education, something or another. A conference for educators, that's it. Space Coast Area Conference for Educators. And we are going to do an ARISS contact from there. It's a 3-day thing. In all probability, it will be what we call a telebridge because of the pure timing and just trying to schedule something. But right now we have it on the books as either a telebridge or a direct. And if we can figure out option times that would fit in for us to do a direct, I might be asking for more help to take gear up there. At this show, we had 2 from Daytona Beach area, came down and watched. One was from, what's the aviation school up there, the university, Embry-Riddle, and the other one's Volusia County STEM coordinator was there. So they're both interested. I guess they're talking, I don't know whether we're talking 1 or 2. They have clubs up there. I told them I've got your back. All the equipment is available. My equipment has been loaned out to about 20 some odd schools. Okay? Yeah, it's been well traveled, let's put it that way. And so if you've got a school that thinks they might be interested, or a church or a museum or whatever, get in touch with me. We'll go from there and see what happens. But we might have something coming down the pike. Don't know, end of June. I'll have to let everybody know if that sort of comes to fruition. We might need some help to go up there and help out. So, well, that's it. That's all I got. There you go.
Charlie, thank
Thanks.
you so much. Great
Thanks.
job, man.
Thanks.
Okay?
Thank you, Charlie. And Ed, of course, has a question after we say no more questions.
I had my hand up.
Okay, well,
Yeah, but okay, we'll let you ask.
okay, Ed, go ahead.